Good evening, comrades, and welcome to Gustav Making Stuff, where today we are going to make the handmade rifle from Fallout 4, which is basically a mirrored version of the AK-47. However, just to point out before all of you answer this question that they are mirrored, that is because in an FPS game, I will now show that most of the time the gun is on this side, and here you have all the interesting actions with the things coming out and the reloading and stuff like that. So that's why most of them are mirrored, because they look more interesting in the game. So please stop commenting that things are mirrored, okay? Because they are in Fallout. So, what you need is foam, some wood in different thickness, craft foam, 2 of these plugs, plastic pipe, and some other shit I can't remember, but pay attention when I build. And Sovrat Comrade experience.
So we're starting here by taking this Kalashnikov Airsoft, which I do have at my disposal in my arsenal of prop guns. I do not want to sacrifice this to be in a Fallout thing, because I want to use this for other things. You know, I make movies and stuff also, which is very good to have generic stuff to use from there. So we'll do some little bit of a rough estimate here of the measurements, so they will fit onto the little plastic part there. I should have some wooden part for that. It is squared if you do it, but I did have this, so let's use it. Anyway, so now you see here I'm doing a little bit of a front hand guard and the handle there, and I'm gonna cut them out and see so they fit your hand properly, because they are a little bit different looking from the actual AK-47 itself. I don't know why, and I don't know why it's just called the Chinese assault rifle, but then again Bethesda is doing some pretty odd changes from game to game. However, here I'm using the bandsaw for the first time, and it absolutely broke down. I don't know if it's old and terrible and doesn't work for that reason, but I do had to cut down to jigsaw instead, because I don't have any better things to mount wooden parts like this to it. So anyway, now I'm going to do some little bit of hand carving here to round the whole thing off, and also making a little bit of a trench in it, as you see. Because I do like hand carving. I think it's a pleasant thing to do. We can do some Astrid Lindgren reference here, that I've been sent off to the shed and do this when I have been disobedient, but then again that reference might be too old by now. Anyway, so now I'm just gonna do cutting out this handle here, and I did have to do a little bit of adjustment there so it will fit until the what is supposed to be wood, but I have this plastic part which was almost the same size, so I'm chose to using that. So I will suggest you using either foam or actually a bigger wooden part. Now we have measuring out the pipe here for the over pipe, because there's going to be an over pipe and an under pipe here. So now I have drilled and attached it to the whole thing in itself there, and now we're going to take this little thicker pipe here and slide it under, which the wooden front handle with rest support on, you see, like that. So we will have the smaller pipe and put it inside like that. Fantastic, right? And now we are going to drill some screws into it so it will be attached properly, so it doesn't come loose, because that is grilling is very good for. So now we have actually attached the whole thing, and now we're going to make the outer body of this gun itself. So now I'm taking 2 pieces of EVA floor mats here, and I'm putting them on the side here. And now we're just going to draw out where some of the details are going to be attached, like the magazine and all the eject slots and stuff like that. And due to it's mirrored, so it is a little bit tricky. Now I'm 3D printing this part here. I could order one or have a donor gun for it, but I had to 3D print it because it was a little bit more expensive than I thought it was going to be to buy an airsoft part for that. Anyway, so now you see I'm dealing the box there a little bit, because we needed to actually attach the box here. So when I have cutting out the ejection slot things there, so you will see that they will attach properly. You see the little front thing there will have to slide in under there, so we have to lift them up and glue them. It's a little bit tricky, but you will soon work it out by yourself. So now we are actually going to do the both sides here. One of the sides is actually kind of flat, unless you have the scope mount attached and stuff, which you can do because this is a very good for modification things. So now I'm just gonna glue this sheet of craft foam here and just wrap it over to make the upper cover, which the Kalashnikovs do have, and then cut it off in the correct length and glue it on. So now I'm drawing here the little bit of a what you call auto fire safety thing that they have this, but I forgot to do it mirrored, so remember that to mirror it. But it's basically these two sheets glued together, and then we're gonna cut it out where it's supposed to be and put it there, and then we are going to glue everything back on it and also attach a little bit of a screw there. And now I'm drawing out the ejection slot here and actually cut it out when it's on top of it, because so it will have the correct shape, because it would be very difficult to do that and not mess up if you do it as one part. So now I have this little bit of a when you do your own books things, but basically it's two circles, and it will be put on the eyesight there, and also this thing which I don't really know exactly what it does, but we are going to attach it anyway, and it's both on both sides of the gun, so don't forget to do it on the other side also. So now we see, there we go, where we have the little front sight there. This is an actual real one that I have in my possession, that it works like that and it looks like that. So now I have this little part here for adjusting your kitchen cupboards, which I just gonna drill in the back there so I can attach a shovel handle when I get hold of one which isn't attached to a shovel I actually use. So now we are going to take a little bit of a nail strip here and bend it together to put the, what you call it, finger guard thingy. Sorry for my terminology on gun parts here, which I'm not completely clear with. In Swedish it's called varbygen, which I think is a really absurd name. But then again, so now we have the magazine release thing there, which I'm just gonna cut out. Also this is of EVA foam, so I'm just using the gun for a reference here, or airsoft, or whatever terminology you are comfortable with using here. So anyway, so I'm gonna cut out a little bit of a side panel there and do it on both of the sides of it, which will be absolutely indeed fantastic. So now when you have done that, you will have to do a little bit of correction. Now we are going to do the things that pushes the gas back from the part that eluding the thing that I don't really know what this name is. So anyway, you see we have two small parts there and one there, and we are now going to put a lot of glue so it looks like the welds on it, like it has been handmade, because that is the name of the gun in the game, the handmade rifle. I don't know why I'm saying that, but anyway, now we're just gonna put on a little bit of a detailing thing here, which is all a little bit of rivets and stuff like that. So I'm using a little bit of some suitable sized nails, and also the one that is there, I'm gonna hammer it in there because it's been naughty, so it needs some hammering. Anyway, now we are going to put a little smaller pipe and tape a little bit so it will fit in with friction, so we will have the front eyesight there. Now I have this bottle of soup, which you can also use some shampoo bottles and stuff like that, but they should be a little bit in this size here to make the over covered thing on top of it. You can also have a wooden one I saw in the game, but I thought this would look fantastic with a little bit of a whole thing. I do like when metal has this holes on the sides of them, like old machine guns and some what do you call it, exhaust pipes on like tractors and stuff like that. I think they look gorgeous. But anyway, so now we're using the hole punch here to put it like that and make it a little bit bigger so you can actually correct it in size by cutting it with a scissor. Now we are going to put on the tape here onto the exposed wooden parts here, so we can paint the whole thing black with spray paint like that. And now we're gonna remove that. Sorry, we are not gonna do that. We are actually going to keep that, because it would be very good for when we are painting the gun that it doesn't get paint on it. So now we are going to take a little bit of aluminium tape here to make the ejection slot there, and just gonna cut it out. Also, now we're going to take some stove polish and put it on, because it contains graphite, so it looks very, very fantastic when it's been rubbed in. And now we're going to take some little bit of a metal paint to highlight some of the little bit of areas and that, and also have some brown paint here and slab it on, so it will look a little bit of rust and dirt and stuff like that. You can also do black paint also on top of that. But anyway, now we're gonna peel this thing off here and paint it with very, very wet brown paint. You can use wood oil also for this, but I heard that they can be very flammable, and right now in Sweden we do not want flammable stuff because it's a massive fire hazard and everything is on fire. So now, I hope you like this gorgeous gun I just made.
So I hope you find this very requested video informative, and see you in the next one. Bye.